it has been decided. Two people, one from a school shooting, the other from a school district. Two people, one in jail, one resigning. I'm talking about the person who did the school shooting back in 2018 and Superintendent Rick Fernandez, who resigned after being accused of grade tampering and not doing job performance. We'll get to the latest on that Parkland school shooting. We'll get to the latest on the trial that happened on Wednesday in just a few moments. But first, what I want to we'll get to the show in just a minute. But I want to introduce you first to a new friend I have on board. This is called the Board Bridge, a simple dry erase board. Now, part of using this is when I describe something. Let's say when we do a topic on vandalism, I would go landscape or sideways. And for the landscape board, what I would do is like we talk about graffiti or something, and what I would do, I would do this. Like you got a wall with some bricks, and then it'd be like, it'd be like this. Then what I would do, wipe it clean. We are going to use this in some cases, in some future episodes. So look for that. It's a simple dry erase board. All right, on with the very latest from the superintendent. As you heard, if you've been watching the news lately, you've heard that Superintendent Rick Fernandez of Tuloso Midway ISD has resigned. But he's still in the school. He's not resigning until January next year. January 2022. So we still got months ahead. If you ever watch this show, you need to listen to this recap here. To recap, what I'm going to do is write it down while I'm talking, so some of y'all can understand. So that we don't have to give you all a timeline here. So in July 2021, he was accused of grade tampering. UD, which is unknown date. Which was like a board meeting, and Fernandez suspended. And now today, I'm not going to go too far deep into this. Board meeting number 1 was suspended, so go like this, and No decision. That's as far as I can go. No decision. Third. No decision. Four. Resigned. So this is as far as I can go. Excuse my handwriting. So that way y'all can get a recap of this, and I don't have to go over with you at all times. I don't want it to speak in trying to understand this, but I am going to recap to you anyway in case y'all can't read it. So back in July, he was grade tampering. Then the board decided to suspend him for grade tampering. But what the attorneys realized was basically he's been placed on administrative leave over his job performance. So you got grade tampering and poor job performance. That's super tight. You gotta make sure you know what you're doing with the education. You know what placement has been made? We have an interim superintendent. We don't know who it. Excuse me. We don't know who it is. We'll keep you posted as this goes along. All right, let's take a break here. Next, the very latest on that Parkland school shooting happened in 2018. The shooter is now in court. Hear what he has to say in the court. And we're going to give you a timeline when it has happened after the break. First there was Columbine. Then there was Sandy Hook. Then there was a whole other school shooting until 2018 when Parkland came along. The shooter's name was Nicholas Cruz. And just a couple days ago, he pleaded guilty to eight those crimes. He pleaded guilty to all those crimes. So what you have here is just basically a shooter who just basically got a gun and called a lift. So that's basically what you have here. So to recap, back in 2018, Nicholas Cruz decided to get a gun and shoot people. But before he could do that, he had to call an Uber. Now, did he tell the Uber driver about the shooting? We don't know. But according to Fox News, which I streamed it, which this was live streamed, I gotta find out by looking up history. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. So he was 17 counts permitted, 17 counts attempted murder. Jurors recommend life on death in person or death penalty. And Cruz killed 14 students, 3 staff members on Valentine's Day 2018. That's how it happened. That's 34 counts. And all 17, guess which one he pleaded? He pleaded guilty. And according to the judge said he'll spend 1,000 days in jail. And what's interesting is the father of the shooting victim. The father reacts to the shooting. Manuel Oliver, he's the father of his son. He lost him in the shooting. And the question is, why do people need guns? So So I'm not going to play what the father said, but I'm going to give you a formula here, so y'all can understand. School plus guns equals disaster. Remember that. Remember this formula. And remember the two things. And also, again, remember the two things the school needs. Safety and discipline. Those are the two key factors when you send your child into school. And if you don't look for those things, it's very important you talk to your child about safety. School bus safety, school safety. How safe is your child at school? Parents have to come in and visit every now and then and ask questions. Really certain questions like, how safe is the school? Will my child be safe? How often do you do lockdown drills? If you don't ask these questions, your child's going to basically be a victim of a school shooting. Be one of the victims here, or at least die of the school shooting. If you don't ask certain questions, your child's basically going to be the one either dead or carrying a gun. And I've been telling you guys, and this is the one thing I hate. School shootings. I hate vandalism, I hate truancy, and school shootings. There have been school shootings ever since 1997. I mean, there was a lot of these school shootings, and nothing was being done. Counseling these kids. I mean, there ought to be a law against. There is a law against bringing guns to school, but the thing we have to remember here is that the kids are getting the guns under the age of 21. Yet they get it from their parents' closet, and the worst thing about it, you have kids, juveniles, who are carrying guns and shooting up the place. You got Columbine, Sandy Hook, and now Parkland. And in this case, Nicholas Cruz, he did it. He pleaded guilty to all 34 charges. And then now it'll be up to a jury to decide the life or death penalty. We all have to make sure that, and the parent and the father's reaction is just like, I'm glad he's guilty. My pain's bigger than it means I'm going to do bigger things. Exactly. And when I was in school, I've seen threats of people wanting to shoot up a school. I mean, I've heard people want to be threatened to shoot up a school, threatened to do a school shooting. I mean, since 2021, there has been a school shooting here in Texas, but now there's another school shooting in Timberview. Earlier this month in Arlington, there's been another shooting. And class has been starting back up because of these shootings. And this was an 18-year-old, old enough to go to jail. And 3 weeks ago, there was a teen in Memphis who was charged for a school shooting. For another school shooting. In an elementary. What? So why are all these shootings happening? Well, because they don't like someone. That's the reason why I hate these school shootings happening. Nothing is being done. We have to train teachers, educators, on how to spot these things, and it's been up to people, superintendents, to decide whether they want a police station or carry a pistol. And Dr. Freeman said back in 2019, well, back in 2020, last year, build a police station. And so far we've seen police cars and nothing's being done. No shootings have been happening. No police station. So that's great news. But still, we have to make sure that none of these things happen. And if it happens, we have to do something. On a future show, we'll talk about the right to bear arms. But there's more show when we come back. Let's look at COVID totals right now. So far on Tuesday, one high school student on the 18th, one on the 19th, 3 on Wednesday, and 1 student yesterday. Beyond that, we're seeing zeros from the rest of the schools, and that's good. 19th, only 1 from the district. So that's good. The number of totals right now since this year, 256. Current enrollment staff count, 1,880. 256, 19 total cases, 151, 115, and 2 from elementary participating in remote learning, 0 from independent, 0 from junior high, 0 from high school, only 2 from primary, 2 from primary, 2 from elementary, which is a good thing. What about in the county? $70,000 deaths in this state, plus 224. We're like over 70,180. In Nueces County, 61,000 with over 1,200 deaths plus 1. Tests have been taken. 1 million tests have been taken. There's 85,000 positive tests and 8.1% been positive. Hospitalizations, 52,000 people have been hospitalized. People in ICU, 1615. As for vaccinations, 17.6. That at least 1 dose, 60% of the population. And 52% have been fully vaccinated, which is 15.2 million. And they continue to improve. Take a break, go outside. This was from Twitter. And they continue to decrease. But the transmission is still high in a 7-day average. So, if you experience COVID, you need to stay home and call your work beforehand. Let them know, hey, I got COVID, so and so. I think I need to stay home. And just weeks ago, the governor announced a law saying don't be mandating people not saying we don't want to mandate people where people getting vaccinated. Thanks to Joe Biden. If you feel like you can get the COVID vaccine, get it as soon as possible. If you have weak immune systems, get the 3rd booster shot. And basically, until you reach a certain age when you get that vaccine, like the Pfizer or whatever, follow these rules. Masks at the nose. Not down here, not down here. Social distance, 6 feet or more away. Sanitize your station when you go to school. Every now and then. Wash your hands every 20 seconds. If you're at a fast food restaurant, it's gotta be an hour. If your child's under 2, no mask. If you have a medical condition, you need to let them know beforehand. Also, if you're flying or riding the bus or taking a subway, you're still under the mask mandate. And remember, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want. You can ride the bus vaccine free when not all the other kids that all the other kids have been vaccinated or anyone else. And just 3 hours ago, back to the school shooting, the police chief said bullying played no role in the Timberview shooting. This was in Arlington. After the shooting, the institute students Timothy Simpkins' family said he had been a target of bullying. That's what led to the classroom fight when they started shooting. The family and the student involved in the fight denied the boy bullied Simpkins. The police chief said Simpkins participated in high-risk activity leading up to the fight. That announcement made at a town hall meeting held by Mansfield ISD. Chief Jones' statement was a total rebuke. Statements made from Simpkins' family did not go any further, explaining what type of high-risk behavior Simpkins was involved in. So, the district consider was talking about in Thursday's meeting and hold further discussions. Bullying, I take this thing very, very seriously. And another bully, 15-year-old. He was 15 years old. This was on the Boston Globe. Over the bullying investigation. 15-year-old. This was over a 15-year-old. Six classmates were attacked. And again, I take this bullying business very, very seriously. I take everything very seriously. Stop bullying. It's not good for you. Finally, here's something I wanted to discuss. Shaving. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail here because we only have a few seconds left, but I just mainly want to focus on the cuts. I just want to make why schools mandate shaving. It's basically because the community wants to see kids look sharp. But here's the thing. Not many kids here know how to shave, so okay. This would be the face. The lines here would be hair, and these lines would be cuts all over the face. And yet when that happens, they're saying, "Oh, I'll get you a Band-Aid." Something needs to change here. Get rid of the policy or find a way. A way being a program. A good program to help. We'll continue focusing on shaving tomorrow, along with the same thing I told you today. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. All for this edition to get Company Break Thursday. See you again tomorrow for Company Break Friday morning. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night.